Okay, we're going to keep going on costing and a couple of notes. I got some great comments. Some people trying to keep me honest, so I appreciate that. Definitely something that I did last time was not perfectly accurate, and I'm going to highlight that. So please, if you find something that I'm doing wrong, comment, let me know, and we can readdress that. I got a comment from Aurelius, or not sure the name, so comment next time with signing your name and then I can use that. On cost of goods sold interim. So this one is gets posted when you ship not invoice. And so the idea is here, I actually had this as a 50,000 account, which means that it was hanging out in the on the income statement. And here's the issue with that. If I ship not invoice, there's no revenue. And so I am actually posting a cost of goods sold without any revenue, which means that our gross profit will go down unrealistically, right? Because we have cost with no revenue, and this number will be messy. So how do you fix that? Well, this really should be a 1,000 number, you know, somewhere on the balance sheet. So I think I put it actually 10706 or something like that, a balance sheet account. And that way it's basically just accruing on the balance sheet. It's an accrual account. So my bad, good note, and I actually will fix that in the video. But anyways, what I was going to talk about in this video is not that. This was just highlight from comments, so please keep commenting. We're going to talk about FIFO. Basically, FIFO is a very simple system, inventory system. We're going to create the FIFO coffee mug, and I think we'll just buy, let's say, 100 at $10, and then, so that's a purchase at $10, and then another 100, whoops, at $11. And there's an interesting note on this, is that when you actually buy the 100 at 10 and then 100 at 11, the item card will show unit cost 1005, and I'll highlight that. So even though you have a FIFO system, and this is the first transaction, let's say this is 4.3 and this is 5.3, actually 4.3 and 4.4. So this is on the 3rd of April, and this is on the 4th. So the item card should be showing unit cost of 10 because it's a FIFO, and FIFO means that it takes the first transaction that's available, has remaining quantity, and takes inventory from that and takes the cost from that. And then when that's done, it goes to the next one. And so the cost of the product that you're selling is dependent on that. However, on the item card, it shows you the average cost as the unit cost. It always does that. And we'll drill into that. So it's confusing. You're running a FIFO cost of goods, a FIFO costing method, but it's showing average cost on the card. But that's just the way Nav is, or Business Central. Nav used to be, Business Central is. And we're going to do a sale showing that it picks up the 10 first, and then we'll do another sale where we're actually combining the two, and it's replenishing out. And you see this unit cost change. So let's take a look at the video how FIFO works and square that away. Okay, so just like I spoke about with the cost of goods sold interim, I've actually moved that to be an asset account. So you see here, cost of goods interim is here. And yes, it makes more sense to have that as the asset or close to the inventory account. But as you can see, the more of the accrual postings that you have in the system, the more sub-accounts you have towards the inventory accounts, or like asset accounts hang out there for accruals. Anyways, I'm going to talk about FIFO now. So if we go into the items, I'm going to create a new item. And so we're going to be playing around with FIFO, LIFO, average, specific. And in order to kind of specifically focus on each one, I'll just create a new item. It's called the FIFO coffee mug. And I'll create a FIFO average, LIFO, and all of that, different items. And so this is just a standard one, and we can see that the costing method is FIFO. So that's all I have to do here. And right now the unit cost is 0. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and do a purchase order and buy this. I could have done an inventory adjustment, but let's do a purchase order. It's more realistic. And I'll do a new one to Fabricam. And just put in the invoice number here because I'm going to post this. So it's posted at 4/3. That's the posting date. It's the FIFO coffee mug. I'm going to actually put it into the main location and hopefully not forget. 100 for $10. So if I go ahead and hit posting, post, receive an invoice. Ooh, I was lucky, hit the same number again. So let's go ahead and post. Like that. No. So now I have generated inventory of 100 for $10 each, but I'm going to create another invoice for the same item to show you the FIFO effect. So if I only had one invoice, one cost, then it wouldn't matter what costing method I had. That would all show the same thing, except if it was standard. But now I'm going to get into the main location, another 100. And this time around, it's going to be $11, right? And we go ahead and post. Receive an invoice. Okay, so now we have 2 transactions. And if I go into items, right here, hit post, and I go into my FIFO coffee mug. Now I have the unit cost as $10.50 right here, right? So that is displaying the average cost, really, because we have 100 at 10, and then we have 100 at 11. So the average cost is $10.50, and that's being displayed here, even though we're showing here FIFO. Now, if I close this out and do a sales order, so we do sales order, and we're going to sell this. So let's see what cost actually posts when we sell it. So since the average cost is $10.5, but the costing method is FIFO, when we post this, and let's say we're going to post just 50, we should get $10 for those as the cost. So even though the unit cost comes here in as $10.50, technically, since it's a FIFO coffee mug, it should be just costed out at $10 because I'm getting the first transaction. So I sell it at $20 just to get some profit, like that. And then we'll go ahead and post this main location. Yep. Ship an invoice. And don't want to see the posted one. And so if I go into items and take a look at my FIFO coffee mug, and I look at the transactions, there's a couple of ways to get into that. History, entries, ledger entries. I can see that the cost amount here is 500. So interestingly enough, the unit cost on the item card is giving me the average cost. The cost that comes in on the sales order is the average cost. It's the unit cost from the item card. However, since the item is a FIFO, it will post the FIFO cost, which is 500. So it's coming from here. It's taking out these 50 and taking that at $100, $10 each, $500 total. So just to further that, if I go ahead and sell 100 now, which would mean that I would sell all of these 50 and 50 of these, so that the total cost of that should be 500 from here, and then 550 from here, so 1,050. Let's go ahead and validate that. So if we just go into our sales order, and it's tricky because the unit cost is showing average, not FIFO. But that's just something that you have to know. I go in here, click on the datum corporation. Again, we sell the FIFO, and go into main. I sell 100. Let's say we're doing it at 20. So now you can see that the unit cost is 10.667, which is the average of what is remaining in inventory. So go ahead, hit post, ship an invoice. No. Go back, get into the items, and take a look at the FIFO coffee mug, and navigate history entries, ledger entries. I see now that the cost is 1,050, which was 50 out of here, 500 total, and 50 out of here, which is 550, and then that accumulates to that. So it is doing the FIFO entries all the way through. It's really easy to read FIFO. FIFO makes perfect sense all the way through. It's very nice way of doing costing. However, if you look at the card, you can see now that the unit cost is up to 11. This is actually accurate. This is both true for FIFO and average now, because we only have one entry left, which is at 11. But as you can see before, when we had more entries left, this was showing the average. And if you drill down in here, you can see that it's actually tracking all of the entries and keeping track of the average cost and showing the average cost here. And it would be nice to maybe think about the cost amount expected, how that actually affects this number or not in that case. But that might be a later topic. But hopefully this made sense as far as FIFO goes. FIFO is sort of the easiest and nicest when it comes to reading cost. And it's very clear.